tremendous amount of weight, not by going on a diet, but just switching to eating a diet that we were intended to eat, a raw food diet. Not only is it possible, folks, today's guest, Philip McCluskey, has done just that, losing hundreds of pounds by just eating the natural diet we were designed to eat. And he's going to explain on this week's featured video exactly how he did that. And if you're overweight or know anyone who is, this video is going to be very helpful. Not only does he explain how he did it, but he also explains how he dealt with the people's reactions around him, because it wasn't easy. And he's going to talk about that, his successes and his struggles, and it was a wonderful interview, and I'm glad we got it. So everybody, if you have any comments or questions after the video, post them below the video, and enjoy this week's featured video on the Raw Life Health Show.
Thanks so much, Paul, and thanks so much for all of your guests. My name is Philip McCluskey, and I pretty much raw food saved my life. I had been overweight my entire life, pretty much since birth, it seems like. Was the biggest kid in every single class, every single event that I ever did, every grade in school, and quickly moved up the ranks of being the cute kid who everybody wanted to pinch his cheeks to, the chubby kid to the overweight kid to being really overweight. And then we had developed a new term at the time called morbidly obese, over 100 pounds overweight, until I finally got to the point where I was weighing 400 pounds. And didn't really know of any other options left, because I tried over 30 different diets, everything from doctors to nutritionists, therapists, hypnotists, psychologists, trainers at gyms, and multiple diets. I had tried Weight Watchers multiple times. I had tried over 30 different diets in total, to be quite honest. Packaged frozen meals, liquid meals. I even tried vegetarian at the time, but didn't even know how to really handle it. So I had gotten to the point where nothing seemed to work, and the only thing that the media was talking about at the time was this idea of gastric bypass surgery, where they go in and they're cutting up part of the stomach, and it's this invasive procedure, and you can only eat like as much as you could fit in your hand for the rest of your life after that. And I thought that was the only way to go. So I had to go through about a month of tests to sort of satisfy my insurance company. And they finally, at the last minute, said that I could go ahead and have it done. And right before I was to take the step to have it done, something inside of me just said no. And I heard this voice or check or whatever you want to call it, but I knew that there was something else that I must have missed. And I had been reading a book about water fasting at the time, and they had mentioned raw food, and I didn't really know what they were talking about. But it sounded interesting, so I started reading up about it online, and then went and ordered tons of books on Amazon and just immersed myself into it, and then literally switched overnight from eating 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day, literally up to 4 times the amount of a normal male, to switch to 100% raw vegan overnight. And I tell you, it was amazing, and really, really did change every other area of my life, not only just my weight.
Wow, that is amazing. And how long ago was that?
So about 5 years ago. I recently just had my 5-year raw anniversary, and I had made the switch about 5 years ago, and for 4.5 years didn't go off, just ate 100% raw vegan, and just got to really enjoy that and see what it was like. And came off so fast. The first year 100 pounds came off. The second year I started to incorporate fasting and really kind of wanted to get to know my body and see what it was made of. I did a 100-day juice fast. The second year, another 100 pounds came off. So I literally chopped my body weight in half in 2 years. And then continued to play around a bit since then and try different types of fast and see what my body really resonated the most with, and use some intuitive eating as well. So it's been a fantastic journey. But I got to say, I mean, there was times where I'd be going to the gym an hour before work and an hour after work when I was just eating poorly, and still I could never lose more than 20 pounds with that kind of rigorous schedule. And here I was, the first year I didn't even do exercise just because I was so big and out of breath at 400 pounds. But the first year I lost 100 pounds anyway, just from the diet change. And that always kind of struck me, because it showed how important our food choices were, and how, despite I've gone to all those different doctors and therapists and nutritionists, I don't think that much value on it. I mean, they talked about it a little bit, doctors not so much, nutritionists sure, but they never really put any value on it. And here I am losing 100 pounds in the first year just by diet change alone, not even with exercise, and realizing the power of this and how much of an effect it can really have on our lives.
Well, Phil, you look like a pretty young guy. How old are you?
34.
Wow. So you went through all this at a young age. Now, some people would say going so drastically to a different type of diet, the health people will say you'll detox too quickly, and the unhealthy people will say it just doesn't work. Did you experience any detox effects that you thought were ever put you in danger?
That's a good question, Paul. And it's, I think a lot of people do experience heavy detox when they switch in, especially somebody eating such a toxic diet as myself. I mean, I would literally for lunch go to the dollar menu in front of one of the fast food places with $5 in my hands and buy 3 hamburgers, a French fry, and a milkshake. And I'd consume that type of food for just one meal and then duplicate that, and then switching over to literally just having fruits and vegetables. I mean, the idea of me going raw was almost the silliest thing ever, because I think I literally liked about 5 vegetables when I switched to raw. But despite that, I knew something would work. And one of the interesting things that I think helped me out with the detox in the beginning was I didn't follow any of the rules in regards to fats. I remember a lot of people were very specific on fats in some of the books that I read, only having 3 avocados a week, or only having no more than a handful of nuts a day. And in the beginning, I was just so used to eating such high amounts of food, but more than anything, eating a lot of empty calories, fats that weren't even benefiting me. So here I am switching to raw food diet, having 1-2 avocados per salad, having literally up to 10 hand nuts in a day, sprinkled in my salads, nuts, seeds, everything. And because I was having such a high amount of fats, I think that it kind of slowed or delayed any kind of detox. So the only experience that I had detox related was I had a little bit of red patching under my eyes, a couple spots. I think I lasted for about 1 to 2 weeks, and then that disappeared. And literally that was it. That was the only detox experience I had switching over to raw. Now, later on, of course, I started to experience a lot of emotional detox and emotional purging because, as the expression goes, the external is a direct reflection of the internal. So there's a lot of internal pain and hurt and things that I was holding on to that was also keeping that weight there as a bit of a protection or a safety blanket. And so I noticed that as I started to do raw and I didn't want to go off, which a lot of people tend to do, as the emotion gets to be too much, you can't really squash down those feelings of rejection or abandonment or whatever you're trying to deal with a salad. It does a much better job when you're eating a heavy pizza or eating junk like that. And so I know people tend to switch and it doesn't work out. They're dealing with some emotion. They end up going to overeat over here. And then that kills the emotion. Then they're back to trying raw again. And I can do it. And then they're eating, and then the salad's not doing enough. So I saw that pattern, and I said, okay, I want to stay on raw. This is my commitment to myself. I can eat whatever I want. I just want to stay raw. And so that kind of kept me in an arena that said, okay, here's the emotional detox that's coming up. I have to just be and let it go. And that was an interesting process, but not so much physical detox, emotional detox more than
that's
than
kind
anything
of what we're
else.
looking at. I'm not sure if you can really capture it on screen, but
Wow. Yeah, we got it.
I've had 2 people fit into them before on stage. 2 girls came in and chatted, and we're joking around a little bit, but really, really fun to keep those as a good memory of what I've kind of come from and where I'm looking to go with all of this, and continue to improve and work on my health as I go forward.
Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.